This is your daily market recap for Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at EXPI Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market recap for, Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. A little tired today. Did a lot of action trading. Took advantage of all of this volatility. I hope folks are paying attention to the previous recaps, how we are literally giving you the anticipated play-by-play of what's to come. People ask all the time, how do you know this stuff? What are you doing? Why does this work out what seems like pretty well, probability-wise? Well, again, stop by the Discord room. Watch the Back to Basic videos. Become a student of the game. If you don't want to be a student of trading or the game, it's pretty hard to win. Think of it, any game out there, any gambling, recreational sport, whatever you want to call it, you gotta practice this stuff. Luckily, I've taken my lumps and survived, and I'm where I'm at today. It's not because I was easy, that's for sure. Again, as I like to say, this room, this channel, everything is meant for folks who are looking for that edge to get beyond the point of where they at, which is usually many steps up, many steps back. Again, winning and losing happens. It's just the probabilities. We like to win more than we lose. Seems very obvious, but there are reoccurring patterns and things that people do constantly that put them in the positions. Now, again, if you join the room, check out the Back to Basics or on the YouTube channel. Again, it's all on the side. I'll leave a link below in the video, and let's get into it. So, what did we say yesterday? The CPI number, and I've said this a million times, a lot of people didn't understand it. That data was June data. Go look at oil. We'll get into oil, copper, whatever. All of the inflationary aspects of the economy peaked in June. Oil 120s, copper almost, was it $5 or $6? I can't remember the specifics. In general, go look at all the commodity complexes. They've all pulled back. So when the CPI data gets released, and sentiment and I would consider retail as a whole stupid. And people go, you can't say that about retail traders. I'm like, well, think about it. If the game is to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people, the retail trader is the sheep. They are the target of this action. And so what did we talk about? The news was saying how the CPI was going to be the worst in 40, 50 years, yada, yada. All of this was known. No, do not think for a second that no one knew this was coming. So the action proceeded was more of a trap. And we talked about that over and over and over. Some people are like, oh, the market dropped, you're screwed, the next leg's coming. And it's like, okay. Well, what did we do? We had some plays, we had some stuff. We stopped out into the close yesterday. Again, you use stops. They're not meant to be painful. They can feel painful. No one likes to lose money. I told people, I was up a couple grand and then ended up being down. Well, today made that back and more because I stopped out. The market luckily gapped down because I honestly thought with the CPI, everybody knew it. It could gap up. Think about the sentiment. Go check out StockTwits, Twitter, whatever. Even the headlines. Everything's bearish. That's not a recipe for more down. You have to remember that. The market is a mechanism to take money. So again, stop by the Discord room. Check out the side rooms, please. I'm changing the rules to the money-making room to keep it so that you can only see what I'm posting and people who have colored names or descriptions. That's because, again, I want to keep the noise out. Side channels, ask as many questions as you want. Don't care. All right, Bitcoin. What do we say? This could be an M top. What do we say again? Just set your stop. Don't overthink this. If it goes lower, it's gone. If it holds, it could be. There's multiple ways this could play out. Chop to pop to the trend line. Chop to break out. My guess at this point with Bitcoin is it's probably more of a chop to pop. How high? Again, let's play the trend lines. Play the support resistance. Keep it simple. It's holding up. So at this point, it's pretty binary. If you got in here and you're wrong, small stop. That's great. If it goes higher, even better if you're long. If you're short it, well, again, you got to know. Oil. Here we go. Here's CPI. Here's when all the CPI data is coming out or is registering higher prices, is when this is going on. Oil is now down here. Now, do the math. That's a 20% haircut. Has CPI peaked? Yes. Technically, near term, absolutely. Oh, Dan, you're crazy. No, it has. I mean, think about the biggest input. We've talked about oil getting smoked. Here's the USO. Like, I still think in time. It's funny how who wins the election and then oil goes straight rocket science up, rocket ship up. I mean, I still think we get down to this level in time, 65, maybe 70s. It's not going to be a straight line. Remember, demand destruction. It's real. It's the summer. You're not hopefully using as much oil and gas to heat and cool your house. Hopefully you don't need to. Anyway, we could talk about the fundamental thesis. It doesn't matter. I still think we're going lower. But the key is what? It's got to hold 93, 94. We talked about that many times. That's why that green box is already there. Why is that green box there? It has a muscle memory. Oh, I gotta go. Yep, I gotta go way back to the time machine. I don't care to do it. I could change it to monthly, but let's just move on. There's nothing to really say. I mean, you break 93 going lower. All right. Comprende? I think so. Pretty simple. All right. There's bonds. This is the best trade to help you also see why inflation is peaking. We talked about buying down here because, again, it broke out of the channel. Another novice. Talk about novice gaps. You don't know what a novice gap is? Let's talk. Then you brought down and we're like, ooh, there you go. That confirms it. You make higher highs, higher lows. We talked about the 20-day a couple days ago. Talked about, in general, I think the hardest part right now is to assume that we knew that the CPI would be the lift of this, and we didn't. You know, when it pulled back, said, all right, yesterday's action, not real. It was a lot of indecisiveness. What did we say this morning? I mean, I pulled back, and I was waiting for the 20-day, and here's again. This is me being greedy and being early, working out. I said, you know what? I don't care if it gets to the 20-day or not. I'm going to start buying this morning action because guess what? It's a dip. I think bond yields are going lower. No one believes that. TLT going higher. Well, here you go. Inflation's peaking. Feds are recession's coming. Now, again, I don't know. Long-term inflation, totally different than near-term. We're talking weeks max. Okay? Now what? Now what? I mean, again, 120 minimum. Again, if you're buying at 113 to 110, I mean, we got some down here, which is lucky. Again, I will take that versus trying to predict the market all the time because the bond market's telling you something. Either recession or deflation, near term. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Check it out. I mean, it's one of those things where, again, you need to know. You need to know. What does that mean? You need to know. Well, you need to know that the market is anticipating things. You're looking at CPI data from June, and this thing is making higher highs and higher lows. Inflation is peaking near term. Now, the growth rate, that's it. Is like that rate of 9% peaked. We're not going to see 9% next month. Market's going to love it. Anyway, dollar said watch out up here. We said it was been bullish. We said we're going higher. Check out the monthly. Real simple. We are into the top of the range. Do you think there's going to be sellers up here? I mean, we talked about this. Everybody and their mom's talking about parity in the dollar to euro. Now, again, I'm not saying ultimately the dollar won't go higher. I just think it needs to take a break. And if it does, will the market like that? I think so. Yeah, I'm not trying to be cute, just being honest. VIX. We talked about it. It's coming down at some point. It is going to get a channel lows or even down into 18, 19, 20. You're crazy, Dan. It's a bear market. Well, do you remember the last bear market? Look, you had the chop in the VIX before the final explosion, and the explosion will probably be in the fall or the spring. It's not in the summer. You will have volatility in the summer. But here you go. Here's the volatility into the... Keep in mind, this is the SPY. SPY was not the volatile index during the 2000s. What you had choppiness in the VIX, even in a bear market. Comprende? Again, does this make sense? Like, you can't just assume that it's a bear market and the VIX is going higher and the market's going lower every single day. It's a 12 to 18 month cycle. It takes time. You don't get from point A to point B in a day or a month, even a quarter. Let's get into the SPY. We traded this a couple times today. I don't really want to go into the options trades or what we're doing. You can stick around. Come by the Discord room if you want. What did we say? Watch this, like 375. You got below it in the pre-market, 373s. You did get down here, which was rather funny. And then what? Nice bounce back. We talked about it. Oh my gosh. If you gap down, you're buying. If it gaps up, well, we'd have to figure it out. Again, we laid out all the scenarios, all three in the Discord room, or at least I did. What happens if it gapped up? What happens if we open flat? What happens if we gap down? We gap down, we added. Why would you add? Look at the sentiment. Please go to the where you ever found this and look at the sentiment. It is all bearish. We're making higher lows. Oh, spaghetti. This is, keep in mind, I've tried to remind people the rubber band man theory. People just don't listen, and that's fine. They'll listen until when they start want to win. You had the big down, less down, less down. Higher lows, snap. Big down, next leg down, higher lows, snap. I know that sounds really simplistic, but that's what it is. That's probably what's coming. Now, again, people go, oh, how do you know that for sure? We don't. We got stops, we got a plan, whatever you want to call it, right? But are we not playing the probabilities? Rubber band man theory, again, tiring. Imagine someone running with a rubber band around their waist, and at some point they get drawn back. They get tired. The further they get, stretch it. And here we go. Like, this is a big move, friends. 25, 30% down in the market is a big move. If rates are going lower, inflation has peaked, the dollar has peaked, could that lead to a rally? Wow, everybody's bearish? You bet. Everybody's bearish. Going into earnings, we'll talk about one. Because, again, let me actually talk about it right now. Because something like Micron, they had their earnings, right, last week. Look at the action. Pop back. That is not bearish. You have to be aware the stock has gotten cut in half, essentially. They come out with kitchen sink quarter crap, terrible quarter. Look what happens. There's little cues about the market you got to pay attention to. This is bullish stuff, man. And again, you guys know me. I was the first bear in November. Been bearish for a while. Bearish, king of the bears. I am bullish now. Why? Because everyone else is bearish. Indirectly. I mean, that's one way to put it. I hope it makes sense. I don't know what else to paint the picture. Worst case scenario, I've said probably up near 400, maybe even channel high here, maybe this channel high here. I know this is kind of messy. I just don't know what to tell you. I've said this a billion times. Even in a bear market, you get up months. Chop up. Even in a bear market, you get chop up. You get chop up. Chop up. Do not sit here for a minute and think that this is going back down to the zero in a straight line, because then you are, again, maybe if you can time travel and you can see the future in 12 months, maybe you can get there and just take your profits and come back. That'd be cool, but no, you got to trade the market. Same thing. Smash, lower smash, equal smash, rip. Big smash, smaller smash, higher low, retest. Again, it's repeating patterns. I mean, it's amazing that people can't see it. Now, again, it doesn't have to be that clean and perfect, but I mean, what have we said? The tech led down. It's probably going to lead first up. It looks pretty good. It's above the 20-day versus the SPY, which isn't. Again, near term, at worst, 296, maybe 315, maybe 330. I mean, there's a lot of maybes here, but one is the one thing that I'm confident of. We're going higher. How high? I don't know. That's not the question you ask yourself first. You have to know the direction. If the direction is up and you're closer to the lows, then you should be confident you're going to go higher. Play the dips, play it accordingly. Just have stops too. Again, if you want to leverage up and leverage down, that's what we're doing. We got a core. You took advantage of some of this. Got stopped out yesterday. Boom, right back in. Traded around this. Boom. Now what? Everyone's saying, oh, it's a double top. I remember that very vaguely. Right here, you had like this little double top, lower, boom, came back there. Everyone thought it was a double top. Little higher high doji, went a little higher. Is this a double top here to go lower? I don't know. What do we trust? Our stops and our plan. Do you have a plan? Do you have stops? Or are you just going to trust me and wing it? And if I'm wrong, be like, oh, it's Dan's fault. No. Trust me, you don't want to blame anyone but yourself. Just like I don't hold anyone else accountable for my trades. Just me. Just me out here, solo. Same thing, head and shoulders, whatever, it's choppy, complex. What do we talk about? This peaked first in November. Is this bottoming first here in June? Looks like it, higher highs. Maybe not higher highs, but higher lows. All right, gold. Hey, red alert. Red alert. Red alert. We are actually fond of gold near term. Now, again, I'm not buying this. I personally don't, but others have, and I told them I think you have a trade here. Whoop-de-doo. I think it's going to bounce. Why? Range lows. You found some volume today. Again, I mean, I'm not like, I've said this 158, 160 area is just, it's the range lows. It's probably going to bounce. Now, if you come down in a straight line, yes. We're going to go, oh, we bottomed down long term. All right. Well, if we have, congrats. However, if you study gold, you know the manipulation game. It loves to retest. Double bottom, double bottom, double bottom. Where do you want me to zoom back? Choppy bottom. I mean, this thing it's going to give you opportunities. The bear market's not over, folks. People will have to liquidate and get shaken out. I hope it pops great for bulls because, again, long term, I am a physical owner of gold and silver. I'd like to see the price go higher. Silver, same thing. Here you go. Oh, you're in this chop zone. You're in the 17s. What do we say? We'd get down here. Nobody believed it up here. Nobody thought it was possible in the 20s. Well, down here, again, the volume isn't great, but the market rallies. People get comfortable in risk assets. They'll buy gold. They'll buy silver. They always do. Now what? 20, 19, 21, I don't know. Your guess is good as mine. I bless this move up. Meaning that I can see a reason. 26. Here we go. GDX, what do we say? 26. You got to hold here. I am personally not buying it. Let me repeat. But it makes sense. I think you get down a little lower. But today's action actually signified something to me because you have a double bottom. You have a little higher volume. Again, the first test, not really a truster. This action, you never know because you needed more information. Open lower, close higher. You engulf the bar slightly. Higher volume. Again, take the name GDX off of this, and I would say it should go higher. Because look at the move. Slam jam, should pop. GDXJ, same thing. Should pop. Look at this, it's even better. Because keep in mind, the junior miners are, you know how it goes. They're more risk on for this kind of stuff. Well, what are you seeing? Right? Like, what are you seeing? Looks very clear to me. Engulfing bar, higher volume. Should pop. How high? Again, 35? Maybe you get it to 40. Again, if you want to trade it, go ahead. I mean, again, I need to watch the market leaders versus gold because gold has not been leading. It is maybe, again, it's making a bottom as the market makes higher lows, but it's not leading the market. You know what I mean? Like, this has just kept going lower. This is not leading. This is not some sort of leading indicator of bullishness. I need to see that because I think there's better trades in other places, as we've talked about. AG, long term, I still think you're getting back down to the channel low or whatever trend low, trend area. Doesn't mean it can't bounce to $8, $9 first. I would watch. Let's just stretch this out to here. I would watch this box. I think anywhere if it bounces up there, please take your profits. AEM, like this long term, I still think it gets into the 30s. But what did we say? I mean, this thing is just slow death. It's getting exhausted, should pop. I mean, I don't know. NFGC, I like this game. I mean, these are all names we talk about. Like it long term. Got to hold down here. Just got to hold. PAAS. For once, I will not say pass on it. I will say watch it. Again, you have a double bottom. It's been absolutely shredded. It can go from 21 up to 24 or 20 to whatever, 24. It can go from 18 to 22. Like, if that's how you want to trade it, making money is making money. I personally am not touching it, but that's you. You do what you got to do. I prefer to trade the leaders. Gold is not leading. X, we talked about this being super sloppy, choppy. You could buy it down here. It's been, again, the one thing I hate about other materials names right now is that the feds really want to see materials go lower. Maybe they do. And the biggest concern I have ultimately is if China, if Uncle Joe unwinds trade deals, China might be dumping steel. Same thing with Nucor. I mean, these are all good areas, right? Your risk reward is very tight, right? I mean, Nucor guided up 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever. Here's that day, it guided up, came right back, gap down. It's kind of wild. You got your references, so if you want to own it, great. CCJ or VALE, they're all in the same boat, folks. They're all materials names. Notice they all have similar formations. They're at range lows. They are not leading the market higher. It just kind of is what it is at this point. So keep in mind, should hold here. That's all. I mean, again, there's a reason why I tell you guys, like, I want leaders because they're leading up, they'll lead down, whatever. I need to know. So here we go. What are we doing? Hold this area, right? CCJ, I've said this a billion times. I believe in the uranium long term. I'm not some sort of bot bear that just hates uranium. I do believe, though, ultimately, because we are able to identify head and shoulders top, now choppy range, bear market, what is going to happen? I still think you can get back into the 16 range, maybe even single digits. I don't want to answer that. And then what? Then probably if the bear market's over, uranium's going higher. It should be really that simple, folks. Just, you can't bet on this. I say this all the time and people don't listen. They're like, oh, I love uranium long term, it's the future. No one's disagreeing with that. But look at the price action. It's saying you're wrong. Oh, but the price action is wrong. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. No, bear markets, people sell paper. This is a right to uranium mine. It is not cash. It is not liquid. It is not gold. Whatever you want to, liquid gold, whatever you want to say. Like, it's a guaranteed long term. Because again, those miners could be run by absolute shitheads. The arrow, again, here we go, copper. I mean, a copper name. Love it down here long term. But I don't know if this is the bottom. Okay? Should bounce. How far into the channel? We don't know. Mosaic. Interesting action today because, again, I think these things should bottom. We're at areas, right? We talked about, like, here you go. Should hold this trend line. If you got to buy it, hold it. Do what you got to do. You got your spot. CF. We talked about CF being a little stronger. And people are like, why is that? Well, look at the volume here. Somebody had stopping power. Look at that big red and green. Maybe they're going to get bought out? I don't know. Let's get into my favorite sector, which, again, if you watched this videos months ago, I'm like, short, hate. Now it's like, you love tech? You can't switch your mind. Well, absolutely I can. I got to do what the market's doing, fool. And when I say fool, meaning like rhetorical person who just loves to just talk crap. What did we say even from up here? This downside is probably your first major support. Or your last, one of your major supports, because one was right here at the old highs in this chop zone. Like, you could drag this over. Oh, grab the wrong thing. Never mind. Let me try this again. There we go. That spot. Whatever. Now you're down here. Wait, again, if you watch the open on AMD, I mean, it ripped right back. We talked about it being bullish. Now what? Oh, you got a doji and you got a green candle. Well, now what? You need more information. I still think we're going to rally up to the mid-90s, maybe even 100 plus. How them apples? SMH, again, all these tech names. At the open, boop, right back. I mean, they literally opened at the low. I wouldn't say closed at the high, but that's great action. Boop. Bankable, up on higher volume. Slightly, not really great. Where's my 30-period moving average volume? I'll add it later. Why did it get deleted? Anyway, historical volume. Let me. What is this volume at? No. Historical volatility. This is always every randomly once in a while. I look at this stuff. Let me see if there's anything. Yeah, I mean, it just follows price, man. People, all these indicators. Look at the money flow. It's coming off the low. Again, it just follows the price. Just follows the price. Anyway, what do I think now? I've said this a lot. I think at worst you get up to like the 17 to 220s. Maybe channel surfing. Maybe even the 200 day. You really get crazy. I don't know. CHIPS Act is coming. It's coming. It's in the oven. Remember, Congress has to go on break. I think it's August, mid-August they go on break. We will have a CHIPS Act before that. These drunken sailors will spend money. They will spend your and mine tax revenues all day. They want safer chip production. Well, guess what? You gotta get the money to spend it, because then again, it's these companies moving across the ocean and back here. Apple talked about, you're coming up to the 150 range. It's been bullish. Look at this action. I mean, the market's bullish. If this is doing this and the market's seems bearish to you, then you're not paying attention. This is why we watch the leaders. If Apple is going higher, Is the market going to follow? Probably. Does, I mean, keep in mind, Apple is such a large percentage of the market, right? Again, the volumes, wipeouts, washouts, traps, going into earnings, kitchen sink quarter. No one's saying that they're doing great, but are they doing less bad? That's what you have to worry about. Meta, they updated the app. Facebook, wow, look at that. Again, same thing. Opened at the low. Nice little green bar. Get over the 20-day. I know people might say, oh, this is bearish. To me, it's OPEX. That's the hardest part sometimes too. Just the games of OPEX. But what do you know? Higher highs, higher lows. I mean, you can look at this little smooth, nice channel. Very smooth. Very sensual. No, I'm just kidding. Again, think about why we like this. When it's been channeling down, when you hit channel lows, what happens? You at least get up to mid-channel or the channel highs. Actually, from here, yeah. Look at and let's go look at the previous channel. What previous channel are you talking about? Channel 8? No, this channel. You got up at least to somewhat of a high. At least some. I mean, I'll take this. I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll even take this. Whatever. Take that. Take that. Take that. Like P. Diddy, right? We'll take it. Again, if you're playing options or you're playing shares, I mean, you're playing for points. You're getting points. Scoring hard in the paint. Roblox. A lot of people disappointed by the action today. I'm not really that disappointed. I know like the stupid little channel I have is very strong. It's very angular upside. I don't really trust it. But look at the action. Doji today. Keep in mind, everybody and their mom was buying Roblox calls. But what volume here? Lower, higher, low. I mean, this stock is acting really good, folks. And everybody bought calls last week. And what did we say? We sold some covered calls, not at the high at all, but just sold some. They're basically worthless. And now it's chopping. Well, that doesn't really... I'm not surprised. Again, the market makers probably got a lot of call buyers they're trying to scare out because you know what's coming. Rocket ship. Yeah, I mean, look at this thing. 140 down. And again, volume. Is your Shopify showing you volume like this at the lows? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't look at those stocks. I don't think they matter. But I know kids played the hell out of Roblox. I know its valuation, whatever. I think it's getting bought out. Somebody's buying shares to take active ownership. That's my perspective. I've seen this before. Have you seen it before? Probably not. Or if you have, good. Did you recognize it? Did you take advantage of it? Congrats if so. Tesla, again, open at the lows, close closer to the highs. W bottom, we've said. I mean, long term, I think this thing is a double-digit stock, like somewhere in the 80-90 range. But it ain't getting there in a straight line. It's going to play these games. So what do? I've said, please don't short this. Trade it. Look at it's been. Trade. At some point, it will probably get up to 800, maybe even 1,000, maybe 900. I don't know. Then you should be selling it. EXPI, someone was arguing about not arguing. Someone was asking about fundamentals, and it's like, fundamentals? What are you talking about? What are fundamentals? Company's doing great. Oops. We're adding agents left and right. Our revenue is climbing every quarter. Fundamentals don't matter, but what do we say? You could probably buy it around here at 11, 12, and now it's bouncing. How high? I don't know, but if you buy it at 11 or 12, let it ride. See what happens. If the market's going higher, maybe this thing could go nuts, or maybe it could not. I don't know. It's hard to say. UTHR. Again, here we go. I'm saying again a lot, but whatever. I don't care. What have I said? Beware of the channel high. We're coming into it. Oh, you can only see it on the monthly. This is a monthly. Here you go. Do you want to stay all in invested up here? If you tell me yes, I'm going to slap you. Because you're not listening to, and again, it's not me. You're just not even using risk management. I mean, this is a pattern of channel high. You should take profit. Well, if it gets bought out, what if it doesn't? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you bought in when we talked about double bottom or down here on the retest, or in this chop congestion, and then, or when it said it broke out with volume. Remember this? I don't have this drawn, but I wish people saw this. Here you go. When it broke out with volume, you see that? That in itself is a buy signal. And then what? Higher high. And then we talked about coming back to here. Now again, we've literally painted the picture here. You're getting closer to the highs. Whenever I say the more I'm up, the less I own. Well, sometimes I'm early. Well, guess what would have happened? I mean, if this thing peaked and it doesn't get up to the channel high, or it doesn't get to 250, whatever, how many people are going to sit there and just ride it all the way back? That's been me. I mean, you know how it goes. Don't do it. Please take profits. Oil, talked about this again earlier. I still think the USO is a shitty ETF. Short it. All pops. I honestly thought you'd get back up into like the low 80 range. We got to 79. Missed it, but other people didn't, because we said this is a short, and I'm happy for them 1000%. It could get choppy. That's all I'm going to say. Oil at this point, be aware. Uncle Joe is in the Middle East. What is he talking about, and who's he talking to? Who the hell knows? But I'm pretty sure he's trying to get oil deals. Well, he's probably not doing anything. He's probably taking naps, and someone's negotiating for him. XOP, same thing. We said, like, we talked about the big short. Now you're down here. There's a lot of juice on the bone. No. ExxonMobil, same thing. They're not going to get... They're going lower in time, but they're not going to get there in a straight line. I mean, look at this choppy action. You could get weeks of this sideways action. Don't be there. Don't trade other stuff. Please promise me you're not going to hold short through all that with puts or some shit, and then a month from now it's nowhere, and you're like, well, what'd I do? My options are worthless. And you held... Why? AMC. This is so funny. I can't believe people buy this stock. Where is UNG? Why do I seem to miss it every time? It's literally right in front of my face. Nat Gas. How did you know to short oil? Well, look at this action. It's getting super toppy, sloppy. Up. Boom. That big red candle confirmed game over. Look at that. Made it. Gap down, pop back, signal. Boom. Professional gap. Murder. Maybe a little pro gap, chop gap. I don't know. Remember, UNG, natural gas has a lot of gaps. Doesn't matter. Bottom line. What do we say? You gotta watch. Now again, I really don't like the chart the UNG should do natural gas, but I mean, you see for a reference, I think it's somewhere in the 6s for natural gas. That's what I'd be watching. All right, well, I hope you had a great day today. Again, I mean, I don't like to brag, because you have to have humility, because tomorrow is a whole different day. You're only as good as your last trade. Today was an amazing day. I hope you did really well. If you did not do really well, talk to me. Come by the Discord room. Again, ask for help on the side rooms. Be vulnerable. Like, don't worry what other people think, because actually posting in the message rooms might get multiple answers that help you. Maybe I'm busy. Whatever. You have to take the ego out of this, okay? Promise me that if you want to get good at trading, it's like, I mean, I said this a million times, but you have to take the ego out. You have to be willing to work harder than everyone else. Like, that's why I always love to people say, oh, you're just kissing Tom Brady's ass. That guy's excelled at sports on a level only comparable to maybe Michael Jordan. And think about both of their personalities. They hated to lose, and they worked harder than anyone else. Now, I'm not saying you got to work your ass off to be great at trading. Just be willing to do something and get educated. Have some mentorship. Have an ability to learn. But if you think you're just going to show up and be great at a sport, I mean, because trading is a sport. Let's call it what it is. There's the World Series of trading or whatever. Whatever, waste of time. Make money on your own account. Do this. Here you go, Micron. We talked about, like, kitchen sink the quarter, rally back, not bearish. Now, I'm going to talk about real estate again if you need a roll. But if you're making money and you're thinking about getting into real estate, like buying some, I always tell people this. Paper assets into real assets. Buy real estate. Invest in real estate. Again, true wealth is made from passive income from real estate. Inflation. All of this stuff is sustaining. There's a housing shortage. Now, could houses drop near term? Probably. And you should be absolutely buying, because if this is like the 70s and 80s, house prices doubled and tripled. Inflation goes up, rents go up. People don't buy houses, they rent more. You're literally insulating yourself into an asset if you have the right agent, the right partnerships, the right collaborations to do well on this. I tell people I'd love to be a referral agent, help them find an agent wherever they're looking to invest. because then I also can co-pilot the transaction. I can be involved. If you trust me in this kind of stuff, trust me, you're going to want me to help you out with your real estate investing, because what ultimately is the game? It's knowledge. It's always knowledge. Do you know how to do it? Nope. Well, who do you trust? Do you trust me? Cool. If you don't, that's fine too. I mean, I'm always here to answer questions about anything, even if it's real estate. But I'd love to help people, because if you're actually making money in this stuff and you're treating this like a business, as we say, you're taking money out of your account, you're paying taxes, you're expecting to make money, at some point you need to put it to work. And it's not putting it back in the market. That's crazy, because now you're just upping your gambles. You're gambling more. It's time to diversify, and it's not diversifying in anything other than real assets. What have I said? I like gold, I like silver, I like metals, I like materials, I like real estate. Stuff that holds up for the long term. Now, digital currencies, you might know more than I do. Be careful with them. I don't trust them, own them personally long term, because guess what? I don't know who's going to be the winner. Bitcoin seems logical. Ethereum seems logical. All these names, I don't know. Gold, silver, 5,000 years. Real estate, always need a place to live. Those things seem to have held up. All right, you got questions? The website's gonna be flashing across. I appreciate you folks. Again, please be willing to work at this. Do not expect to show up as a trader or to get fed the narratives from the news that gives you the noose to hang yourself. Literally, the irony of those words. Like, just please think about it. Like trading. Like, the game is meant to take your money. There's a casino. Don't sit here and think you can't lose if you do what the market wants you to do. That's a hard comment to understand and wrap your head around. Talk to you later.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.